Are you struggling to orgasm during sex? Are you expecting your partner to be a mind reader? Well, stay tuned to learn how to become an expert in your own orgasm. Hello and welcome back to my channel. As always, I am Matt from Cleveland Sex Therapy. I'm a licensed clinical therapist and certified sex therapist. Today's video is geared towards all of you who want to learn more about your orgasm, how you can master it, and where to begin. Let's go. First things first, whether you are a penis owner or a vulva owner, a man or a woman, your orgasm is unique to you. Stop trying to make your orgasm like other people's. Stop trying to compare yourself to what you're seeing in movies or in porn or in conversations with your friends. How you have an orgasm is going to be completely different than how I have an orgasm or how your friends have an orgasm. And when talking about orgasms, there are so many different ways and kinds of orgasms that you can have. There are penetrative orgasms like vaginal orgasms and anal orgasms. There are clitoral orgasms for vulva owners. And there are orgasms that can be had individually with ourselves using a hand or a sex toy. And there are oral orgasms that happen as well. All of these have the ability of creating a different sensation within you. As we start this video, I want you to keep in mind that you can own everything that is yours. If you've had orgasms before, you know what they feel like. If you haven't, hopefully this video will get you more connected. But at the end of the day, if you can own what is yours and just be open to learning more, you're going to become a master of your own orgasm. I understand how cringy and self-helpy that sounds, but I truly mean it. There's a combination of acceptance and then openness that lead to the most growth in a lot of us as humans. I want to talk about toxic gender norms for a second. More specifically, toxic masculinity and toxic or passive femininity. Toxic masculinity has penis owners believed that they must succeed all the time and they must be able to give their partners an orgasm or they are failing. This then creates this mentality within penis owners that all they are is this vessel of providing an orgasm. Yes, do they eventually have orgasms? Of course they do. Penis owners typically have orgasms a lot easier than vulva owners. But if their mindset is geared towards, I must give my partner one, I must give this vulva owner an orgasm or else I fail, that can create this disconnection. This also ties in a lot with masculinity in general and like what it means to be a man. So if I am not focusing on my own orgasm and I'm only focusing on giving my partner an orgasm, there is this level of disconnection and disassociation that can occur within me that can lead to sexual dysfunctions like erectile disorder, anorgasmia, anything that sort of stops us from getting what we want. And then you tie in passive or toxic femininity, which sort of has that message of my partner must give me an orgasm. A lot of vulva owners can sit there just expecting their partner to know what to do. And if their partner doesn't know what to do, then we can start shaming that person, or we can even start faking our own orgasms. So these toxic messages lead us to this path of expecting the other person to show up and do all the heavy lifting. All right, let's talk about some fast facts that I think will be helpful for everyone. First, the clitoris has over 10,000 nerve endings and is the most pleasurable part on any person's body. Next up, Most vulva owners orgasm through clitoral stimulation and not penetrative sex or vaginal penetration. Another one is that while everyone has access to their G-spot, that is not the goal. It is great to want to have vaginal or penetrative orgasms if you're a vulva owner, but if you're thinking you are broken, which many vulva owners think they are if they can't have a penetrative orgasm, just know that you aren't. 85% of vulva owners really can only orgasm through clitoral stimulation. So it's phenomenal to have a goal to want to have penetrative sex and achieve an orgasm that way, but it should not be the number one way that we want to achieve one. Next up, while a penis really just needs pressure and stimulation to achieve an orgasm, it is much more complex in the person's brain. For penises, performance anxiety is huge and it shows up quite frequently in relationships. Our brain is the biggest sex organ in the human body. If it does not want us to get aroused or to have an erection, it's not happening. If it does not want us to have an orgasm, it most likely is not going to happen. And it's important to remember that Viagra is great and can work, but it is a band-aid on a situation that really needs internal reflection to solve. And last up with these fast facts, everyone, no matter your race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, literally everyone has to unlearn toxicity around sexual messaging. None of us, and I mean none of us, has received a rule book around intimacy and sex. And so when we come across these hurdles, it can feel really demoralizing. Just know you are not alone. And there are people like me and many, many other sex educators and therapists out there that can help. All right, let's talk about the main reason why you're here today, and that is to learn how to become a master of your own orgasm. So what are the top 2 ways of you doing this and achieving this? It's going to be through learning yourself and then communicating it. There are many, many, many reasons why we masturbate. First of all, mindful masturbation is a way for us to just engage with our bodies and ourselves. It is a way for us to focus on pleasure and what feels good and actually not focus on the orgasm. If we focus on the orgasm too much, we're not going to have it. So why not spend some time practicing getting in touch with our bodies and what makes us feel good? Masturbation is a phenomenal form of self-love, and it can create so much empowerment, especially for vulva owners. Knowing your body, knowing what makes you feel good, knowing how to touch yourself provides you such freedom that when you show up with a partner, it's a lot easier for you to access it. When it comes to masturbation, it is not just a placeholder for intimacy. It is an addition to intimacy. And if your partner feels threatened by it, just sit down and have a conversation with them. Remember, no one gets access to our bodies. We have to grant them access. But it can feel very threatening when we engage with intimacy with ourselves and maybe not with our partners. So don't freak out, just have a conversation about it. When it comes to communicating, one of the most common items that I hear about it in therapy is that people have a fear of hurting their partner's feelings. This is so common. Of course you don't want to hurt your partner's feelings. And I hope that we can create these forms of communication that don't hurt your partner's feelings. But when it's all said and done, you can't control the response to what you're saying. But if you can sit down and learn how to communicate what you want with your partner, that goes a long way. I tell couples to set the scene when it comes to having these conversations. Let your partner know that you want to talk about sex and intimacy. Most of the time, people aren't fully prepared to have the conversation about sex, but if we can set them up to succeed, that's going to go a long way. Some people can feel like they aren't enough for their partner, or that something is wrong with them if they can't have this orgasm. That couldn't be more false. Remember, you learned one way of engaging with your body, with the feelings of pleasure, with orgasm. We're just trying to open ourselves up to another way. Talking about sex is crucial to that. So make it a point to talk about it more than, let's say, once a year. I'm thinking once a day if you can. And if once a day is too much, maybe once a week, right? Just get into the flow of talking about sex and intimacy more so that when problems do arise, it doesn't feel so overwhelming. All right, at the end of the day, just remember, you are in charge of your own orgasm. There is this light at the end of the tunnel. If you can learn your body and ways of communicating it, hopefully your partner will do the exact same so that both of you can get on the same page when it comes to sex and intimacy. Sex is for us and it's for pleasure. Remember that the next time you lose your erection or you're going to fake an orgasm. Break through the sex negative world that we live in. I promise you, the other side is much, much better. All right, that's all I got. What do you think about the orgasm? How do you engage with your own body and your pleasure and orgasm? I'd love to hear, so please comment down below. Until next time.